9 edition here. Sorry, we're a little late putting this one up, but we've been extremely busy with various side projects, most notably the Mega XP Zone and also the Square Deals on Wheels group. If you're not a part of that, you should join it. Search Square Deals on Wheels, the greatest place to find deals in all of Jackson and Hudson. It's incredible. So, a lot of talking last week about the playoff picture, a lot of talk about how the playoff seeds work. Going to go over that again because there's slightly updated numbers, obviously, because, well, we've played another week. So I'm going to clip right along because I am extremely busy today as well. But I owe you guys this podcast 100%. So here we go. We're going to start off with the number 10, top 10 teams, rather. Number 10, New Orleans Rock Chucks, 7-2 with 700 points. I don't know why I'm wisping. Why am I speaking with way? Number 9, Old Papa's Players. They fell to Wally, which was damaging to the league. However, there is a spoiler alert coming. They aren't the only team who's sitting pretty. Just saying. Let's see here. So they did lose, which means that Wally has clinched that division, which means that they can basically sit a bunch of players. They have to submit a legal lineup, which means they have to start players these next couple of weeks. Unless Wally wants to go for history and be the only team in MUSL, the history of MUSL, that is, to go 11-0 or undefeated, I guess, because we've had anywhere from 11 to 13 games. Last couple of years we've done 11 games. So, well, more on that in a little bit. Number 8, Runs Like a Girly. They were number 9 last week. They fell to they went up to number 8. Number 10, Tallywhackers. They're 7-2. Now the points here, look how close these are. 700, 710, 711, 714. So they're really close. They're also 7-2. We're going to zoom this down a little bit. A Team Has No Name up to number 6. They are 7-2, also leading that division now, as we'll see in a minute. Number 5, Tenacious D, 7-2. They're up from number 8. Number 4 is Gregory Clegane, up from number 6 last week. 772 points, a huge jump from number 5 to number 4, as you can see. 727 versus 772. What is going on here? So, yeah. So that is that. Anyway, that means the top 3 in the nation. Here we go. Number 3, password is Taco. They are 8-1. But look at this. Only 689 points for these guys. That's pretty surprising to not only be number 3, to also be number 8, to be 8-1. And as you'll see in a little bit, to be in very good shape with only 689 points. Really? That's atrocious. Number 2. Ashley Manning's HGH Supplier, they're 8-1 with 710 points. Still not a ton of points when you look at Grigori Clegane, 772. But still, good enough for second place in the entire league, good enough for first place in their conference, and good enough to be 8-1 so far on the season. With 2 weeks to go, it's coming down to the home stretch. Yes, indeed. All right, which of course means number 1, no big surprise here. Wally, 9-0, undefeated. Wins their conference already 9 weeks into the season with 2 weeks to go. So, yeah, only 719 points. So, Gregory Clegane, he's probably looking at us like, these chump mofos. Way more points than Wally even. But that's why we do this league this way. Sometimes you can win by just a snippet. I don't know what a snippet is, but you win by a snippet. And sometimes you can blow out teams. Or sometimes you can score 100 points and lose. Sometimes you can score 60 points and have them score 59 points and you win. It's the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid. It's a Cookie Crisp motto. They are number 1 in the nation, 9-0, of course, 719 points. Now, of course, a new week has gone by, and that means new playoff scenarios. So let's take a look at the updated playoff picture, shall we? Okay. If the season were to end today, the number 1 seed would be Wally, no surprise, 9-0. Okay? Technically speaking, if the season were to end today, the number 2 seed would be Ashley Manning's HGH Supply. Now, you notice these 3 asterisks. This is not good for the league, folks. This is great if your name is Wally or password is Taco. Not so great if you are looking at anyone else, okay? So we are looking at password is these 3 asterisks means that they have clinched their division. What? Yeah, that's right. Everyone made a big shitstorm about Wally last week, and somehow password is Taco, because there's a lot of math to be done, kind of just flew under the radar and clinched their division. We'll talk about that in a second. So, yeah, with 689 points, they've clinched their division. No F words on this. It's a family-friendly broadcast. So, number 3 would be Password is Taco. Number 4 would be Gregory Clegane. Number 5 would be Tenacious D. Number 6 would be A Team Has No Name. Number 7 would be Tallywhackers. Number 8 would be Runs Like a Girly. Those 8 teams would win their conferences and thus get the top 8 seeds and also get a bye for the first week, which is huge. Not as huge as having 3 straight byes like these 2 teams are going to have, but still, a bye is incredible. So congratulations to the teams in pink. If the season were to end today, you would win your divisions. However, most of these things are not wrapped up, as we'll talk about here in a second. Going down to the next 9 seeds then would be the teams with the best records and most points at that point. So, Old Papa's Players, they get the number 9 seed because they're 7-2, and guess what? They have most points out of the other 7-2 teams. That's why they're ranked higher. Number 10 would be New Orleans Rock Chuck, 700 points. Bill Pulling Dynamite, 697. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Providence Power, 665. What a joke. Whose team's that? Oh, wait, that's mine. Then in terms of the 6-3 teams, we have the Black Hole. I don't know if you know what that's from, but if you do, you're pretty awesome. And that's from the old Nightmare VHS board games classic. You want to play a game? My game! By my rules! I love it. So 703.5 for the Black Hole. Red Wings silently creeping up here. They have... I don't know. They had to be on one hell of a win streak here. Where the hell are they at here? I've had way too much coffee, and guess what? I have some more. Where the frig are the Red Wings? Oh, they're on a one-game winning streak. Whoops. They must have been on a tear prior to last week. 6-3, 701. Great job there, Uncle Mike. There's about 80 million Uncle Mikes in the world. He's one of them. Jerry Springer election. This is the team that took over an abandoned team. I don't even know who the hell this is, but it's a total shit show, just like that election was. 6-3. They have 685 points. Kazoo Crazies, 684. Oviedo Honey Badgers, huge stuff coming up with them in the podcast. 670.4. Irish Hammocks, 664.3. Now, those are the teams that would make it in if the season were to end today, which of course it does not. We still have 2 weeks to go. Lots of stuff can happen. Now, look at this, though. This green stuff is teams with the most points. This is why this league is very unique and expertly crafted. You can score a shit ton of points and get boned every week, and that's kind of unfair. I think points are worth something, don't you think? Just ask Hillary Clinton. Points should be worth something, but, it is what it is. Not enough points. The Broskis are 4-5. 4-5. But they've scored 714.8 points. Look at this. That's more than this team, 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 and this team. So they've outscored pretty much the entire league. And because of that, in the MUSL, you get a chance at the playoffs because you've done very well, even though you have bad luck with matchups. Same for Nasty Nutria. They're 5-4 at least, and they've scored 714.6 points. My Crabtree Itches, 714 points. These are both 4-5 teams, for God's sake. Now, look at this, though, okay? Now, again, a lot of this can change. There's still 2 games left, so a lot of things can change. But if season were to end today, this is what we'd be looking at. Look how close this is, though. I mean, this is this is Michigan in the election year. That's how close this shit is. So every point. Every single point matters at this point. Pun intended, point intended. You're talking 0.2 of a point between these guys determine first place, and 0.8 of a point determine not even being in potentially. So that's why you never give up on the MUSL, because every week you could be way down here. Like you could be, let's see, where's the remaining teams? You could be, like for example, okay, let's look at Jerry's Kids. Where the hell's Jerry's Kids? This is old. What am I talking about? Let me go back here. One more week. I think Jerry's Kids. Well, shit. Well, no. Okay, wait. There it is. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. Jerry's Kids. This team is 1-8. 1-8. They've scored a lot of points. Alan Black knows how to score points. He just doesn't know how to win games. So that's insane, by the way, because look at these other teams. 5-19, 5-54. This dude scored 630 points and won 1 game. Oh, my God. Theoretically, if this guy would have put in super lineups in the next couple of weeks, he'd burn his players, sure. But he is not out of the playoff contention based on points alone, not even counting the random card, which we'll get to. So, yeah, every point matters. Last three seeds, I should say, are determined based on winning the lottery. So every win you get you a ticket in the lottery. So, yeah, a lot of stuff can happen. The two things that we know are happening, though, are that Wally and Password is Taco have both won their divisions. Now, here's where it really gets funky. Get funky, funky, funky. All right, so this is remaining teams. That's old. Proposal 1 versus Proposal 2. By the way, I think that, we are a democracy in this fine country, at least for now. Let's see how that went. I think it was a landslide, like this election was supposed to be. Whoops, it wasn't. Hell yeah. Election jokes aren't going to get old for at least a week. Old Papa needs D. Thomas to score a TD and save us all. Guess what? He didn't. Okay, overwhelming Proposal 1 victory here. It's elections week, so why not? Proposal 1 got 33 votes, and Proposal 2 got 12 votes, which are probably all the conference winners who just think they're going to make it to the Final Four. So, yes. So, Proposal 1 has passed. It's not a millage. It's just a proposal. That means all conference winners will get a percentage of the money. We'll have to total it up. We have approximate numbers right around $45, I believe. But we still have to total some things because, well, this league's a complicated creature. So, that's it. Proposal 1 passes, and they erupt in Proposal 1 headquarters. Nobody cares. All right, so now where are the games to watch? What the hell? Oh, I know why, because it's in a different window. Hello. Hello. Oh, my God, everything just went black. Where the fuck? Oh, sorry. Family-friendly show. I apologize, folks. I have to pull this up now. This is awkward. All right, here we go. So now this is you're looking at, what's this? This is a big spreadsheet. You're right, it is. I'm going to make everything bigger, though, so you can actually see it. Should have done this beforehand, but I didn't. What the hell? All right, here we go. So, in case you're wondering what this is just a giant mess. We're going to break down conference by conference here. Ron Burgundy Conference. So, here is the deal here. You have Tenacious D, who is leading this conference. They're 7-2. So, in order for them to win the conference, it's very simple. You win both games, and you're in. You win the conference. Very simple. If you don't win both games, that's when things get a little bit fuzzier, okay? Because theoretically, really, you have to win one game, actually. You have to win one of these next two games, Tenacious D, and you win the conference. So, do it this week, and you can set players on buys and not have to worry about it for the final week of the season. That means you basically get 2 buys in a row, kind of like what Wally and Password is Taco has. But it's not over yet. You still have to beat Magic Mike. And if Magic Mike has told us one thing, it's that he knows how to work it. Let me tell you something. He is a MUSL veteran with a lot of pride. He's out of the playoff run for the conference title anyway, but he loves to play spoiler. So, if Magic Mike beats you this week, next week we have a whole shitstorm of scenarios. If Magic Mike loses this week, however, this is over and it makes my job a lot easier. So, Tenacious D, if you want to win, it makes my job easier, but the rest of the league hates it. So, everyone else is rooting for Magic Mike this week. Now, if Tenacious D were to lose 2 games in a row, theoretically these 6 teams, are still in play, okay? Now, this is really going to get complicated, so I'm going to try to simplify it as much as possible. Riverside, Team Major Key, Forte Shades of Gray, Staff Infected Johnson, Sag Nasty, Silver Bowl Express. Theoretically, and I cannot mathematically prove this, theoretically, they are all still alive, okay? They're 5-4. So if Tenacious D loses both games, they'd be 7-4. Theoretically, if these teams win both games, they'd also be 7-4, and that's when the tiebreaker comes up. And that's where there's literally currently, even with 6-7 teams, there's a million different combinations, so I'm not going to go to that extent. Here's the important thing to note. Hence, the important thing to note. I'm going to make this red so you can tell that it's important. Oh! It's super important now. Tenacious D has lost, okay, to Team Major Key and Staff Infected Johnson. So, theoretically, if Team Major Key and Staff Infected Johnson were both to win, they would be in better shape than anyone else because they have beaten Tenacious D. Now, that does not mean that they would win the conference necessarily, because if a bunch of teams are 7-4, it goes based on a multiple team tiebreaker. But definitely in the best shape, aside from Tenacious D, are Team Major Key and Staff Infected Johnson. So we'll break this down to every possible scenario next week, but with 2 weeks to go, not going to happen. All right, so speaking of not going to happen, I thought that was the next division. Never mind. The Frank Drebin Conference, the Tallywhackers are in the best shape. Now, this is a lot easier for things to happen, because Tallywhacker only has a 1-game lead on 2 teams. They have a 2-game lead on 2 other teams. So, Tallywhackers, very simple. You win both of your games, you win the conference. Nobody can do anything about it. Now, where things get a little fuzzy is that if you lose either of these next 2 games, especially the second one to the Irish Shamrocks, all kinds of stuff can happen. So, games to watch for coming up, okay? Tallywhackers, they obviously... Now, the Tallywhackers in first. Irish Shamrocks and Oviedo Honey Badgers are in the best shape. They're 6-3. Irish Shamrocks especially, they play the Tallywhackers 2 weeks from now, so that's going to be a huge game. A lot could ride on that. Oviedo Honey Badgers, they play Tallahassee and Farmers Only, so they play 2 teams that aren't really in contention, but they have a huge reason to win, because if at the end of the day they are tied with Tallywhackers, the Tallywhackers have lost to the Oviedo Honey Badgers, and I don't know who else they lost to. They lost to someone else who's not in contention, I don't think, but Oviedo, great shape. They're game behind. They don't control their own destiny by playing the Tallywhackers, but they do have the Tallywhackers in the tiebreaker. Of course, the Irish Shamrocks have the Tallywhackers be in the tiebreaker if they win as well. So a lot can happen here. I believe, and I may be mistaken, but I believe these 2 teams are still technically alive. Brutal Broncos and Honolulu Blue Balls. Maybe not the Honolulu Blue Balls, but I don't want to go to that extent. I got enough blue balls. Hey! Brutal Broncos, here's the thing. They actually play the Irish Shamrocks this week. So if they were to beat the Shamrocks, they'd be 6-4. Shamrocks would be 6-4. Then if next week the Shamrocks were to beat the Tallywhackers, and the Tallywhackers would lose at Dublin this week, holy hell! They're all 7-4 at the end of the year, and that's when the tiebreaker breaks down. This is why I get headaches, because it's crazy. So theoretically, all these teams are live. I might scratch off Honolulu Blue Balls. I might scratch the Blue Balls, but I'm not going to. I want to give them a reason to play, because I might be doing some math wrong. So play your heart out, kids. Play your heart out. So here's an interesting one. I put the cornholers here just for shits and grins. Password is Taco. As I said in the opening, that Wally had all the pressure, or Old Papa's players had all the pressure to beat Wally, because it would be the end of the league basically if he won. And he won, by the way, barely. He won by a point or so, less than a point. Great game, by the way. Look it up. Password is Taco, however, silently flew under the radar, and they also won their conference last week. Nobody even knew. High CPU usage detected. I wonder why. Maybe it's because I have every window, every app I could possibly have open on this thing. My stuff shuts off. You know why. Password is Taco has won their conference. Period. There's nothing that can be done. There's only one 6-3 team in this conference. That's the Jackson Cornholers. And if the Jackson Cornholers were to win both games and Password is Taco were to lose both games, they'd both be 8-3. But guess what? Password is Taco beat the Jackson Cornholers straight up. Thus, they have the tiebreaker. Thus, this conference, the Clark Griswold Conference, it's a wrap. Get it? Christmas vacation joke. They have won the conference, so they can bet. They have to submit a legal lineup. Password is Taco. I don't remember who you are. Love the name. Remember, if you do not submit a lineup this week, you will be randomized, and that could be really bad. So you have to submit a lineup, otherwise you get randomized. No questions asked. So do it. Do it. You have nothing to play for historically either, because Wally could go for 11-0 and try to be the greatest player of all time. You could be 10-1, and nobody gives a rat's dick. So don't do it, man. You play 52 Shades of Clay and Dardar's Dandies, they're gonna get some wins probably. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. The Derek Zoolander Conference here. We have a lot of things that can happen. Not going to go into it very much because of the fact that it's just way too many options right now. Gregory Clegane, 7-2. Bill Pulling Dynamite, 7-2. I forget who has a tiebreaker. I don't know if I put that on here. Gregory Clegane, 7-2. Bill Pulling Dynamite, 7-2. Just a blanket statement here. Where the hell, man? What is going on? I can't believe this happened.
I'm sorry. I'm very embarrassed right now.
Whatever. We're going to get there, and I'm going to see who won this. My fantasy league crashed last week right around kickoff time, which is awesome. So there's like some weird stuff going on with like lineups and stuff, and I don't know what happened. So now, as you can see, it's just blazing fast. I clicked on this like 10 minutes ago, and it's not my internet. ATT's quality product. My God. So we'll skip that one for now. We'll go back to that one. Actually, I'll probably forget to, but Jeff Spicoli Conference. This is really interesting. Team has no name. They win out and they're in. Providence Power, they went out. They have to hope for a team has no name loss. Otherwise, they would lose the tiebreaker because team has no name beat them. So, yeah, these guys are obviously the odds-on favorites. Nasty Nutria, Giggle Giggle, Donkey Punches, You Can't Spell Rape Without Sharper are all still mathematically alive, I believe. So play your best, and you might be able to win. Because you could, if both of these teams lose both games, one of you guys win both games, then you have to break down the tiebreaker scenarios. Jeff Lebowski Conference, look how easy this is. Wally has won that conference 9-0. No big deal. Oh, a 502 proxy error. Everyone's favorite thing to see. Oh, my God. I feel like I'm waiting for an elevator. Anyway, Birdie Bruce Conference. Pretty easy here. I thought Ashley Manning's HGH supplier had won this. I told Richard they did win, but I was getting them confused. The password is Taco. 8-1. They win one game, and they're in. If they lose both games, Nab Tab Knights and Red Wings and Somerset Slammers all have a chance. Now, let me tell you about Nab Tab Knights, though. Nab Tab Knights, they have huge implications here because their next two games are against people they're fighting for in the playoffs. Next week, they play Somerset Slammers, both teams 6-3. The loser of that is obviously out of playoff contention. And then the week after that, they play Ashley Manning's HGH supplier. So, Nan-Tab Knights, if Getting Schneider beats Ashley Manning's HGH supplier, you completely control your own destiny, pretty much. But Red Wings, still alive. They have Brady O'Bush and Getting Schneidered. So Getting Schneidered, let me tell you about Getting Schneidered here real quick. They are not alive for the playoff hunt, but they can play mammoth spoiler. They can beat Ashley Manning and Red Wings and do some serious damage. And not only that, they would put themselves, every win you get gets you one more entry into the playoff lottery. So remember that. Okay, are we back over here yet? I forgot I was even looking up now. Oh, here we are. Hello, who's that handsome devil? Hello. We were looking up, what the hell were we looking up? God damn, I got Alzheimer's. Gregory Clegane and Bill Tony Dynamite. That's what we're looking up. Let's look it up. Let's see who has the tiebreaker there. Schedule, Gregory Clegane, Bill Pulling Dynamite. Gregory Clegane won that game 80.61 to 64.46. The only two people who care about that are those two. So, not true, actually. All these guys should care about that. In the Money 44 is still technically alive, I believe, but, you know, it is what it is. So, this week is huge right here. Getting Schneider, man. Put it together. Let's do some damage, Schneider. And then finally, we have indefinitely the matchup of the week. Runs Like a Girly and New Orleans Rock Chucks. They're both 7-2 right now. And guess what? They play each other this week. Oh, my God! Are you kidding me? Last week of the season. This could determine everything, folks. The winner of this game will be 8-2. Loser will be 7-3. And, if they flip-flop the next week, the winner of this game has a tiebreaker. So, pretty tough. Pretty tough. So this does this actually determine everything? Let's do the math here. Runs Like a Girly wins. They're 8-2. They lose. They'd be 8-3. They'd be 7-3, 8-3. Yep, that's pretty much it. This matchup, boys, is for the conference. Holy shitballs. Everyone, all eyes, well, at least the eyes of, well, you two, will be on this game because the winner of this game will win that conference mathematically. It's impossible for the other team to win. So bring your A game. Speaking of which, bring your A game. They play someone. They're out of contention, but they can still play spoiler. Another big spoiler is Gamers. They're 4-5, but you can see here they play In the Money 44 and Jerry Springer election. So even though they're out of playoff contention, they can seriously do some damage. Bring your A game can do some damage against Somerset Slammers and Nad-Tab Knights especially. They have huge, huge implications this week. And then, of course, Getting Schneider as well, which I think I've already said. So that'll do it for now. I guess I'll be back on my regular scheduled program on Tuesday, hopefully, depending how things go. And I hope you enjoy this, and hopefully my leg shaking doesn't make the camera shake. But you guys have a wonderful day, and don't forget there is the absolute gem of a matchup, sarcasm, of the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens tonight. Can we just contract these Cleveland Browns, please? Anybody? Anybody?